Hello, gentle viewers. This is Avindian, welcoming you to a quick channel update and an important message, as you can see on your screen now, that OOTP 22 is coming. So, what are we going to be talking about in this video? Well, we need to decide who I'm going to be playing as in my next series. And I've taken the suggestions some of you have come up with, some other suggestions that I've come up with, and narrowed it down to 6 teams. I also just did a poll on Twitter. I'll post a link in the description so that you can vote on that poll if you'd prefer, or you can comment down below, or just share your thoughts. I want to kind of mention why I picked each of these teams, and then I will talk a little bit about what's going to happen, when the new series is going to start, and then we'll go from there. The Mariners are an intriguing option because they haven't made the playoffs in a very, very long time. And I think it would be a very cool story to get them into the playoffs. I'm kind of two minds about the Rockies. I mean, to be frank, and I apologize if you're a Rockies fan, they seem to be like the most inept franchise in Major League Baseball. I don't love the idea of the Rockies because I'm going to have the Orioles problem times 11, which is... I'm going to have a hard time making pitchers work there, but we'll see. The Rangers, because I currently live in Texas, and because they also have this weird kind of organization where they haven't really been competitive for a long time. Like, they've made the playoffs here and there, but they haven't really done anything with it once they've got there. The Reds, because it's been suggested to me before. I've been to their ballpark. That's the only thing I can say about any of the teams on this list. I've actually been to the Great American Ballpark, whatever they're calling it now. And the A's, because, I mean, they've been one of the most successful regular season teams you can imagine, but they haven't made the playoffs and had an extended run. And the Pirates, because if the Rockies aren't the most inept franchise in the major leagues today, it's the Pirates. And again, I'm not saying this to be mean to the fans of the team. I don't blame team fans for how bad their team is any more than people would blame me personally when the Browns were, a god-awful football team. But that's what we're looking at. These are the 6 teams that I think make the most sense in terms of this is going to be an interesting team to play. This is going to be an interesting franchise. And there's room for me to make my mark and not basically take an amazing situation that somebody else hands me and make it even better. So, I will use the following rules for this new series. I'll play with the franchise till I either get fired. I've won 3 World Series and had somebody make the Hall of Fame that I drafted or traded for. I'm not going to accept anyone that's already in the minors when I start. And then finally, I get bored because I have to put that codicil in there, or I'll force myself to play with a team that doesn't interest me anymore. That's not good for me. That's not good for you. It makes for bad videos. So it's in there. Very important. We're going to use whatever the rules are as of opening day, or as of release day, I should say, which is March 26th, by the way. It's on another slide, but I just realized I haven't mentioned that yet. I know the DH is still up in the air, but it seems pretty unlikely. The expanded playoffs are up in the air. It seems pretty unlikely. I don't even know how long the season is meant to be. But if that isn't settled by the time the game comes out, I'll just 162 games. Make it easy. We're going to League Evolution. We did that last time, and I enjoyed it a lot. Changing the league schedule using League Evolution just breaks too many things. I remember once I was playing with an older version of OOTP, like 16 or 17 maybe, and they decided the schedule's like 99 games long, but teams are playing like 99 days in a row with no off day. because the games didn't know how to handle it. A schedule that short, that's that weird. So that's why that's not being turned on. I'm of two minds with trading draft picks. I think it can make the game too easy, but not if we're not doing a historical franchise. Like, if you remember back in the OOTP 20 series, I traded for Willie Mays. Because it's like, it's Willie fucking Mays. I'm going to take that 99 times out of 100. But if we're going with real Major League Baseball, to be quite honest with you, I don't know the drafts that well. I mean, nobody knows how any of these players are going to turn out if we're all honest with each other, because a pretty high percentage of Major League Baseball players flame out before they even make the majors. You can have a David Clyde who is taken first overall, and then because reasons, Texas rushed him to the majors. He pitched really badly after an initial couple decent seasons, and then he blew out his arm. Or you can have somebody like Mike Piazza, who was drafted in the 62nd round, something absurd like that, by the Dodgers, and only because he's like the godson or somehow related to Tommy Lasorda. I don't remember the specific story. If you do remember the story, do go ahead and share it. And now Piazza's in the Hall of Fame, and he's probably the best offensive catcher in Major League history. So you never can tell. And that's why I'm leaning toward allowing trading of draft picks, but I do want to hear what your thoughts are down in the comments, and I'll be happy to listen to that. There may be other changes. Out of the Park Developments has not announced what's going to be changing about OOTP 21 yet, into 22 rather. And if they do something that's like horribly egregious, then I might think about stepping back with some of the changes. We'll see what they actually do. So, what about the Orioles? I hear you asking. Well, the new Friday series is going to launch on March 26th. That's when the game releases. Because I do work that day, what I'm going to do is I'm going to record after I finish with work, and I'm going to post it at 8 p.m. Central Time. So if you're in the United States, that's the same time zone as, say, Chicago. And then subsequently we'll go back to the 8 a.m. recording times, but I'm not going to do 8 a.m. on Friday, because even if I had the day off, I don't think the game will be released by then. I would be honestly quite surprised if it was. And we've accomplished everything I wanted to with the Orioles, except for having one of the people I drafted make the Hall of Fame. And I'm going to go ahead and say point blank, it's got to be Jack Leiter. Because I don't consider Adley Rutschman to be my player. Because he was already on the Orioles when I started the series. If for some reason we are not at a point where I have a Hall of Famer by then, we'll either stop wherever we finish off, or I might, if it seems like it's just like 1 or 2 seasons away, like maybe Leiter is like a 74% on the first ballot, I'll just do like another episode and I'll just post it on like a Saturday, or we'll do 2 on a Friday or something like that. Or even we'll start making things a bit longer. So if we get to that point, if it's like March the 19th and I'm like, man, we're so close. Leiter missed the Hall of Fame by this many votes. I bet he'll make it next time. Then I just put up another video. I feel that's the best way to end it. So that's what's going to happen with that. What about the tour through history? That's just going to be a flat import to OOTP 22. The only change there is going to be is that I know I kind of relaxed the 10-year rule once or twice. I'm going to be a little bit more rigid about that, just so that we can see other teams and we can see other players and we can have other wonderful things that happen. I will say, as kind of a warning, that importing can be a bit challenging. but usually that's with online leagues where it just kind of breaks things and you have to fiddle around with stuff to get it to work. I'm not that concerned about that happening for OTP 22 with a single player franchise. But, you know, that's why I'm not going to guarantee you that, yes, 8 a.m. Central Time, March 29th, you're going to have a brand new episode ready to go. I'm just not going to commit to that. I didn't put it on the slide. I kind of like the idea of taking the worst team, but maybe I'm going to go back and look at like a 3 or 5 year average so we don't get a weird situation where a team bottoms out because of injuries, but they were like a World Series team the day before. Maybe something like that. Or maybe I'll just pick a team randomly. Maybe that'd be interesting. I don't know. But do let me know if you have any thoughts along those lines. I don't like stopping recording just because of what's the word I'm looking for? A poll. So I'm going to try to make some sort of system where I can make the decision without having to pause. But that being said, I will accept feedback and comments as you have them, and we can go from there. If you have any thoughts, concerns, or feedback, please go ahead and drop them in the comments section. You can ping me on Twitter at Avindian Gaming. I wanted to reach out to you folks about a Discord server. Somebody had brought it up like about 3 or 4 months ago, and I wasn't really in a position to go ahead and make that happen. I didn't know enough about Discord, but I'm a little bit more advanced with it now. If that's something we want, that's something we can consider. If I get 1,000 subscribers, I should have access to do live streaming with YouTube. If that's something you guys would be interested in, go ahead and drop a comment on that too. It wouldn't be a regular thing. I don't have that kind of time in my schedule. It would have to be in the evening or on like, I get every other Monday off, so it might be like a Monday. I don't know. It definitely wouldn't be a regular thing. It would just be like a special thing. Like, brand new game comes out. I want to try it out and share it with you guys or whatever. I also need to get a second monitor if I'm going to do that so I can monitor the chat while it's happening. So that's like, that's probably more of a 2022 idea. But it's something that I wanted to pose to you folks and see if it's something that you would enjoy and if it's something you think you might watch if it were available. So, I think that's everything I want to talk about in this video. I just wanted to, first of all, let you know when Out of the Park Baseball is coming out. The new edition is coming out. I'm really excited about it. I know we don't know much about what's coming, but for those of you that don't follow the news, Out of the Park Developments was either bought or merely sold their IP to a mobile game developer called Com2Us. But they're keeping the original development team. And I really trust them. They've done a really great job. I'm really happy for Out of the Park that they were able to get a good contract and something that'll enable them to distribute their games more far and wide. But I don't know what's going to happen, but I trust the gang at OOTP. So I'm going to go ahead and buy it when it comes out. The only reason I'm not pre-ordering the game is just because of I like having it on Steam. I just find Steam more convenient than... Because I like the automatic updates. So if you're thinking about buying OTP, you can always pre-order it through them, and you get beta access. Which sounds neat, but I've done beta testing for games before, and it's not something I actually enjoy doing. Because I'm generally not able to commit that amount of time to one particular game to be a good beta tester. And it's like, why would I want a bugged version of a game when I can just wait a couple of days and get the version of the game that has everything fixed? Or most of it fixed. But that's what's going to happen. Once I know more of what's coming in the game, I'll probably tweet about it or share some OTP links or something like that so that you guys can see it too. Last season, the biggest change was how they did the draft. I am really, 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 really hoping they overhaul coaching. I think coaching is way too basic. and it hasn't been changed in a long time. And I really think coaching would be a really cool thing to focus on, or player development. Like, I'm not saying I want them to go full football manager where I get to pick how many points to invest in a player over a given season, but I would like more control over development. Like, if I have a pitcher, let's say in Baltimore, right? I can tell him, work on this particular pitch so that it will get better and improve the rest of his ratings. Or I could tell him, hey, you need to spend the next 6 weeks focusing on throwing strikes. Or I want you to stop using this pitch. Or something like that for a pitcher. Or for batters. Telling them, hey, you've been hitting great these last few weeks. I want you to spend some time in fielding practice. Something like that. More control over any decision is just better. It's always a better decision. And if it's something that's really ridiculously complicated or I can't be bothered with it, just give me a way to automate it. Like with minor league promotions and demotions, which I only do for limited people. Otherwise, it's just boring. Like, I could easily spend 45 minutes deciding for each and every player, this guy had a 2.6 WAR in rookie ball. I'm going to promote him. He's only hit 249 the past 6 seasons, and he's supposed to be a high contact player. And maybe I need to think about trading him. If I was playing the game offline and I could play as long as I wanted to, I might do stuff like that, but I think it would be incredibly dull to watch on YouTube. So, that's it. I hope you enjoyed the video today. Please do share your feedback in the comments. I will post a link to the poll on Twitter in the description here. Don't feel obligated to vote there. I'm going to treat both my wonderful community here who did watch the video or people, just randos who just voted for stuff on Twitter, the same. Probably, actually, that's a lie. I'll probably actually weight it more for you guys. Like, if I get 500 people voting on the poll, which would be insane. I've never had any tweet of mine ever interacted with that often. But all of you say a totally different team, I'm probably going to go with you guys. You're my community. You're the ones who decided to watch my videos, so I want to make you happy, not a bunch of weirdos on Twitter. But if you do follow me on Twitter, I don't think of you as a weirdo necessarily. But, that's how Twitter works. But with that somewhat strange note, I'm going to go ahead and close the video. Thank you all very much for watching and subscribing to the channel. Do click the notification icon if you haven't been getting my videos. I don't tweet about OOTP very much in terms of like I do for Tabletop Simulator or if I have a new series starting. I will almost always do that in advance. But for OOTP, it's got a built-in audience. I just don't feel the need to go out of my way and do that. But what you can do to support the channel is just tell your friends, right? If you're like, man, hey, buddy, we talk about OOTP all the time. Avindian's videos are awesome. You should watch them. That means a lot to me. Stuff like that. So anyway, thank you all for watching. And until next time, this has been Avindian, and I bid you good day.